is coming. What do we need to imagine
to be prepared? I know I'm scared to be prepared. I know I'm scared, and I know from brokenness there's hope. I know from brokenness there's hope.
change is coming? What do we need to imagine
To be
change is coming?
I
What do we need to imagine
'cause I know from brokenness there's hope. I know yes, from brokenness there's hope, and I know
change is coming? What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming.
What do we need to imagine?
Change is coming. What do we need to imagine? 'Cause I know
From brokenness there's hope. I know from brokenness there's hope.
change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Change is coming. What do we need to imagine?
'Cause I know
Change is coming.
I know
What do we
from
need to
brokenness there's hope. And I know
Change is coming.
I know
What do we need to
brokenness there's
imagine?
Words from Anais Nin. And then the day came where the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom.
De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de afuera. De colores es el arco iris que vemos lucir, y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Canta el gallo con el kirikiri, kiri, kiri, kiri. La gallina con el cara a cara, 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 cara. Los pollitos con el pío, 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 pío. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí.
Spring is my favorite season. I love the flowers blooming. I love when the temperature starts to get warm, but not too hot. And to be honest with you, even when it does get hot, I will take sunny days over cold ones any day. Growing up as a Phoenician, spring started for me in March. March is the month of spring break. March is my birthday month. And so March was typically my favorite month of the year, except for March of 2020. That was a little bit different. But that just means that this spring is even more special, right? This spring is even more exciting, and I bet you can guess why. Friends, we've all been through a long COVID winter. And this spring brings with it the promise of change. Just as the flowers have been popping up all over, so have vaccination centers. I've been fully vaccinated for a while, and things have been changing because of that. I know it has for you too. And as we think about leaving our long COVID winter behind, there are so many springtime analogies from all different faith traditions. I think about our Easter story of rolling away the stone from the entrance to the tomb and emerging after those dark 3 days, wondering what kind of world we'll see. As we emerge from our long period of social distancing, what has changed? Has anything changed? When we consider the pagan tradition of Ostara or the spring equinox, of celebrating new life and rebirth, what will be born anew? In a post-COVID world, what can a rebirthed society look like? What can we make happen together? Now, some of us engage in a ritual of spring cleaning, of deciding if items in our lives still bring us joy. And what if, besides just clearing out old clothes and kitchen gadgets, we looked at our society and asked, does this still bring us joy? We know that there are many systemic inequalities here for us in the US and in Arizona. They were here before, and under COVID, they got worse. For me, I was able to keep working from home. I could mostly isolate myself and my family, and for the most part, I had what I needed. But we know that for many of us, that wasn't the case. So many essential workers couldn't leave their jobs. They lost their jobs. So many kids who didn't have a choice but to be in school. So many folks in our communities sick or dying. So when we think about what changes will happen this spring, as we leave behind our period of social distancing and our experience of this COVID winter, what can we do to dream together of a new future? Our hymn from our friends at UU Ann Arbor asked us, change is coming. What do we need to imagine? Well, to answer that question, we have with us today 4 dreamers. First, we'll hear from Maxima Guerrero. Max is a community partner who was arrested this summer during the uprisings, protesting police violence, the killing of George Floyd and Deion Johnson here in Arizona. She was there at the protest as a legal observer, but when the police broke up the protest, she was getting in her car to leave. She was dragged out of the car by police and arrested, even though she had done nothing wrong. Once she was in police custody, there was imminent danger of her deportation, but the community responded. So many people called, emailed, took to social media, and gathered outside the 4th Avenue jail and demanded her release, including some of us UUs. And by the power of community, she was freed. Now, she organizes at the state legislature and through our legal system with a lawsuit against a bill that would criminalize others for exercising their right to protest. Next, you'll hear from Laura Ilardo. Laura runs Keep Phoenix Together, that holds free DACA legal clinics. DACA stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, and it's a program that allows folks who migrated as children to escape deportation. It requires a lot of paperwork and an annual $495 renewal fee. So as you may already know, UU Jazz supports these clinics with staffing, supplies, scholarship funds, and volunteers, many of whom are UUs like you. After that, you'll meet Eddie Chavez Calderon. He's an organizer with Arizona Jews for Justice and a DACA recipient himself. Jews for Justice has been organizing in-person protests. So if you're fully vaccinated and the seed that you want to plant is to show up outside of ICE or detention center, then Eddie is tending that garden. Finally, Ileana Merari will join us. Some of you may remember Ileana as someone who attended UU Phoenix when she went there with her late partner Celso several years ago. She organizes with Aliento, creating art and community and power, along with other documented and undocumented folks. Friends, as we listen to the dreams our partners have for the future, let us reflect on the powerful ways that these folks from communities that have been hit hardest by COVID, that have been the most marginalized by our society, are claiming their leadership. Today, I will also send you some ways that you can get engaged in building out our post-COVID world, from donations to the Undocumented Workers Relief Fund, to contacting your legislators, from protesting in person or in your car, to volunteering at the DACA clinic, to phone banking with your neighbors. Let us reflect together on what our individual role and our community responsibility is. And in this season of renewal, let's follow their lead to make our dreams for the future real.
Hey everyone, thank you for having me here today. My name is Maxima Guerrero. I am a longtime community organizer here in Tohono O'odham territory, so-called Phoenix. And for the past 10 years, I've been able to engage in different campaigns. And what led me to join this movement was really my immigration status. In being undocumented, and especially in 2010 during SB 1070, having multiple laws that were anti-migrant and really wanted to create attrition through enforcement. Through this work, I've been able to advocate towards a pathway to citizenship, advocate towards removing police officers out of school campuses due to the overcriminalization of Black and brown youth. I worked in the special recall election of Russell Pierce and 2 campaigns to get Joe Arpaio out of office. And even though these 2 campaigns and all of this work was successful in removing these people from office, we still see their political culture engraved in the sheriff's office and at the state legislature. 2020, without a doubt, was rough for many of us. And in the midst of a global pandemic, we continue to witness the murder of Black lives. From an 8-minute and 46-second video and the murder of George Floyd, to the murder of Deon Johnson by a DPS officer here in the state of Arizona. Many of us didn't have the option to seek comfort or safety and refuge in our homes, but instead were pushed to and forced to take action and demand police accountability and solidarity with Black lives. In late May of last year, I myself experienced an overuse of police power, and due to being a DACA recipient, was at the risk of deportation. And had it not been for my community for showing up for me, advocating for my release, advocating for ICE to not face me at a detention center, is the reason that I'm able to be here today. This experience allows me to realize and connect the fact that the Arizona State Legislature right now is trying to introduce bills in direct retaliation towards the uprising that happened at the end of last year. There's a lot of bills, and in particular HB 2309, which aims to criminalize protesting, and HB 2295, which aims to allow mandatory have active police officers in oversight committees. And we have seen in the local and national media, especially recently, in the news of political prosecutions, that police cannot and should not be investigated themselves. In a world post-COVID and towards liberation, we are truly able to engage with each other instead of engaging with police. And we are no longer hearing stories of officer-involved shootings, mass shootings, and envisioning a community where mutual aid is common, where joy is common, and where we are truly able to help, support, and provide for each other. In a world post-COVID, it is not the systems of white supremacy and anti-Blackness that continue to be in existence, but rather it is a world where all of our basic human rights are met, and in a world where we are able to take care of each other. So I invite you today to take action, to join in this legislative fight, to fight against these systems with us, to use your privilege that a lot of us may not have, to take action, to call out these systems in your homes, to call out these systems at the state legislature, and to continue to work with us in a pathway towards liberation and justice. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Laura Ilardo. I am the coordinator for the Keep Phoenix Together DACA Clinic. The DACA Clinic reopened in January of this year after 3 years of having it be closed to anybody who has not applied for DACA before. In the previous administration, it closed the door to many folks who would have been eligible for DACA. And with this new administration, we had reopening of DACA. So the clinics have reopened as of January, and I'm the coordinator for the DACA clinic here in Phoenix, the Keep Phoenix Together clinic. So the first question is, in my work with Keep Phoenix Together over the last year, I have seen two things. One is a sense of hopelessness turned into hopefulness. The first year, all of 2020, individuals were not eligible for DACA for the first time. And so there was a sense of hopelessness over the last few years of not being able to have an opportunity as others. And so there was a sense of just utter hopelessness. And in January, as the DACA was renewed and reopened, it turned into the sense of hopefulness, where now people feel as though they can have a level playing field and are able to take advantage of the DACA program, and have been applying and have been super excited about their future in a time last year where they were not able to. And the other thing that I have noticed in the past year is really a coming together of community and individuals for a common good. When DACA reopened, when the Keep Phoenix Together clinic reopened, just seeing energized volunteers, energized people in the community saying, I don't know, how to do this, but please train me. I want to help. This is something I can do. And really seeing all these groups come together to really push the DACA clinic forward. And that has been super hopeful and nice to see in this past year, especially with COVID being so difficult. And then the second question, my dream for Arizona in a post-COVID world is, and the best way to answer it is through the voice of one of our clients that received a scholarship at the DACA clinic last month. She filled out an application that included her narrative of why she needed the scholarship and what was going on in her life. And she gave permission to share this narration. This really sums up what I would see my dream for a post-COVID. So she writes, being undocumented, I have faced many challenges, especially when it comes to being a teenager and a student. As a teenager, I don't get to do the same things as my peers do, such as getting a driver's license or even attempting to learn how to drive, in fear that I will come in contact with a police officer. I don't get the chance to get my first job and help my family with the bills, or spend money on teenager things like concerts, school dances, and amusement parks. Even with the idea of starting my own business, I wouldn't have the finances to even begin. Being an undocumented teenager makes me feel like the odd one out, especially when your friends and family forget that you can't do the same things as them. It really takes a toll on my mental health. As for being a student, I don't get the chance to go to the dream school because I don't qualify for government financial aid and student loans. While I am receiving a good education, I know I am not where I can be and do my absolute best. Aside from the challenges I receive from being an undocumented immigrant, I face many other challenges, especially with my mental health. So my dream for Arizona in a post-COVID world is that people like this client are able to have a level playing field and are able to do the things that their peers and their family and their community around them are able to do, and that they are seen as equals in the society and afforded the same ability and privileges that we all are. So that's my dream. I also dream that our volunteers in our community will continue to come together when needed, and that we will continue to stand up and work alongside our immigrant neighbors, immigrant brothers and sisters when we see injustice, and to fight and to continue fighting. Thank you all so much. And if you'd like to volunteer, simply email me and I will send you a link with a training manual and a link on how to sign up for one of our volunteer shifts. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Eddie Chavez Calderon, and I am the campaign director at Arizona Jews for Justice. Over these past years, I've had the enormous opportunity to be able to help over 40,000 asylum seekers. As numbers have slowly been decreasing, we've also seen an increase lately. And we are so proud to be able to provide logistical support for folks who need the most help right now. It's a huge honor and a huge privilege as a DACA recipient to be able to give back to my community, to be able to help those who desperately need it. Unfortunately, COVID has changed a lot of that. This is why we have adapted to wearing masks, to making sure that we are as cleanliness as possible, to making sure that everybody is as safe and healthy as possible. What I envision is a time where we adapt to what this pandemic did into what our future looks like. Not erasing, but adapting and creating a new tomorrow, where we have presentations on Zoom and in person so that everybody has access. A pandemic shouldn't stop our support. It should only fuel us to adapt to a better tomorrow.
Hello everyone, my name is Ileana Merari. I've been part of Aliento since 2016. This song was created with the words and the thoughts and the ideas from Aliento's participants during the April Arts and Healing Workshop. It was titled In Harmony. And so the participants at that time were invited to share ideas and also feelings about what they were going through as the pandemic started, and also as we were expecting the Supreme Court decision around DACA. And so there was a lot of uncertainty, but also a big feeling of resiliency and unity. And so I put this song together with all of the words, and as I was a participant of that workshop as well, the feelings that were expressed, and so I hope that you like it.
Aunque la incertidumbre haga borrosa
unidos till the end, unidos till the end. Aunque la incertidumbre haga borrosa la jornada, sentimos en el alma la esperanza del mañana. Aunque la incertidumbre haga borrosa la jornada, sentimos en el alma la esperanza del mañana. We must protect each other. Together we are stronger. We must protect each other. We're not alone. We're not afraid. We're not alone. It's not too late. Aunque la incertidumbre haga borrosa la jornada, sentimos en el alma la esperanza del mañana. Aunque la incertidumbre haga borrosa la jornada, sentimos en el alma la esperanza del mañana.
As many of you already know, my role is as the Executive Director of UU Jazz, the Unitarian Universalist Justice Arizona Network. UU Jazz engages UUs across Arizona in justice work, from nurturing social justice ministries in our congregation, to empowering UUs to engage in public advocacy, partnering with grassroots organizations in our community, and connecting UUs across the state for justice work. Today, your donations go to support UU Jazz's mission, but I'm also thrilled to share that all donations made today to UU Jazz will be matched dollar for dollar to support the Undocumented Workers Relief Fund. That means by donating $10 to support UU Jazz, you're also donating $10 to support families who've struggled this past year during the pandemic without the benefit of stimulus checks or any other aid. Your contribution goes twice as far today. Please be generous in your giving to support UU Jazz and the Undocumented Workers Relief Fund. For all that you give to your congregation, to our community, and in support of justice, we are so grateful.
One seed is all it takes to grow a forest. One candle can light a dark room. One voice is enough, speaking words of love. Each moment becomes what we choose. Do you want a new world? A world that works for everyone? Then open your heart and let it be. We can become the new world. Mother Earth beneath the sky. She's waiting for you and for me. Our dreams light the path for us to walk on. Our our songs help our spirits alive, and each little child helps remind us why we not only might, we must thrive. Do you want a new world, a world that works for everyone? Open your life and let it be. We can become the new world, Mother Earth beneath the sky. She's waiting for you and for me to be a new world. With just this thought, it has begun. Now don't you wanna see a new world, in Mother Earth beneath the gray sky, counting on you and me to be a new world, to be the new world.
I have a reading for you today, and it's by my dear friend and colleague, the Reverend Teresa Soto. It's called Finding Our Dreams, and they start with a quote from Georgia O'Keeffe. We haven't found enough dreams. We haven't dreamed enough. The world makes many demands on your time, your skin, your heart, until you are left gasping and wondering if you will ever do enough, be enough, have enough. Stop your counting, your measuring and checking. You are enough. So much more than enough, made from fragments of the galaxy. You do measure up. And to recover from the doubt pressed upon you, the antidote for doubt is dreaming. All the dreams that call to you, lime green and frosting pink dreams, the other soft and tender dreams that run blue to gray, sky indistinguishable from lulling sea. The dreams that seem impossible, listen, that's their nature. If they had already happened, then they would be realities, solid and smooth, like the round bone home of an unbroken egg. Be brave enough to name your dream, nurture it, and allow the rhythm of your breath to bring your dreams to life.
se hacen realidad. Detrás del arco iris quiero estar y volar, y que la magia se haga realidad. Algún día quiero estar ahí sentado en nubes de algodón y estar feliz. Sentado allí en ese lugar, no habrá problema que pelear, solo hay felicidad. Detrás del arco iris brilla el sol se hacen realidad. Detrás del arco iris quiero estar.